Hello everyone, welcome back to Run It Up number 31. That's right, we are here today playing some 25-cent, 50-cent, no-limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com. We started today with $455.31. I'm in for this table though for 85.39 as of right now, so I've got a little bit of work to do before I get unstuck for this session, but it's not too bad. It's nothing we can't run up and just be fine, you know? I'm a little surprised that this guy is playing me heads up because we were playing like four-handed. Actually, we might have been playing five-handed at one point, and then the game broke down to heads up, and it was really a relatively boring session that I was actually trying to cast a little bit, and I was just like, oh my god, nothing's happening. And so I gave up on that, and then we ended up getting heads up, and I was like, all right, maybe we'll get a video after all out of this. So that's a decent flop in a 3-bet pot. I mean, certainly we were beaten by kings and queens and king-queen, and, you know, there are lots of hands that beat us. However, given the history I've had with this guy, which is that he has given me no respect multiple times, and correctly so, I may add, I've raised the pot several times, and I don't believe he's folded to any of them. So it would be fantastic if he kept that habit up here, with hopefully hands worse than mine. So that's a good start that he ended up just bet calling here. So he certainly can have ace-king the way that he's played his hand. Even if he shoves here, he can still just have ace-king. So I'm not planning on folding. There's $20 in the pot. We have 40 left. I can just bet 10. We have a pot size bet in the river. So I think 12 is fine. Under a pot size bet on the river even. I think 12 is fine. If he has ace-king, he has to just shove, I think. I don't think he can do anything else besides shove. I guess he could call if he really wanted to, and that would be fine. If he does call on the river as an ace, he's probably going to check because we could have king, we could have queen, we could have jack 10. Against the shove, we have to just go all in. He could definitely have us drawing dead here, but can't do anything with the queen 8. Our hand is just too good. Oh, nice. All right, we held through that. So we're up. Look at that. We start a video, and we're up. All right, so we're up $17.20 to start the session, which is pretty sweet. Riddle Lock over there, who has the one of the best names I've seen on Ultimate Poker. He Riddle Lock. It's a great name. It's a great name. Name avatar combo J Carver approved. So we win that, which is nice. Lucky of us, I suppose. Slightly lucky for us to hold on the turn there. For him to have A, the worst hand, and then B, not to get there. But all right, so we're at it again here. So last time he did this, he had jack 10 suited, which doesn't really mean a lot, but it does mean that he's not necessarily super strong, although I think he's more likely to be strong than weak, given that he just did it. We have much better than queen 8 this time, though, so we're certainly going to be calling. Ace 9 deuce flop is pretty good for us. We're going to start with the call here and go from there. Yep, we'll be calling. Don't see why we would change this plan, although he bet kind of small on the flop. We could argue for a raise, a tiny raise, something like that, but I think I'm happy with just calling for the time being. Although I wonder if there's a aspect of my game that could be improved on, specifically in like those situations, like in 3-bet pots with a hand like this. Maybe I should be raising in the situations like that. I don't usually, but that might be a tournament crossover where you want to protect your stack a little bit. And obviously in cash games, you just want to make the most winning decision. You know, what makes you the most money immediately. But I'm gonna still call here, having given that we called the flop. I certainly can't do anything besides call the turn. If he bets a ton on the river, I'll be tempted to fold, but, you know, this hand is not being folded. You know, he can just have too many hands that we're folding so often. He can expect us to be folding. I've seen him mess around. The fact that he checked this river makes me feel pretty optimistic for the chances of our hand being the best hand here. It's possible that he's doing something tricky to trap us, but I really doubt it. I think I like betting 11, something like that, just to kind of represent that we have, actually, maybe even less. I think he having actually like 9. I think if he has a hand like 2 jacks, he's going to have to be priced in to call. If you bet like 22 here, he's not going to really want to call with 2 jacks because he has to put us on like 2 clubs or a 9 that wants to bluff. I mean, we definitely could be bluffing with those hands. Also, I think if we bet 9, there's a chance he check raises us light, although I don't think that's happening too much. If he did check raise us here, I'd be very tempted to call, but I believe we have the best hand. We do ship that there. So many words for one relatively basic decision. All right. So here we are, ace 3 offsuit in the big blind, going to be calling this. Nice little heater. We've turned on the cameras, turned on the heater. That was great. If only I knew. I'm going to start playing 25-50 on camera. That's what I think I have to start doing. I'm going to start with a call here as well. Shockingly, if you've watched these videos before, I like calling. Surprise to no one. I feel like this player will barrel this turn card a good amount if he doesn't have anything, but he might just be a little gun shy now because he's just lost 2 pots in a row. So I think I'm going to check and not fold if he bets. It's possible that he was being tricky and check back on the turn with a hand better than ours. He also could just have a hand like Queen 10, which doesn't want to bet turn but will now bet river. Given that we're calling 165 to win 6, I think we have to call given the price we have. We win this hand often enough, and once in a while we lose, but I'm not too concerned. I actually think he played this hand pretty well. He could have bet a little bit bigger on the river just because, just he would have got a little more value out of it. But I think he played his hand pretty well. I actually think that having played with this guy now for maybe like 20 or 30 minutes total, I actually think this guy plays pretty well, all in all. He made some pretty good re-raises, pretty smart check raises and stuff like that. So I feel like his play has all been very reasonable. So I think he's doesn't seem like a bad player whatsoever. Going to start here with the C-bet. We would have kept giving some business, as you guys know. We would have given him lots of business on the turn and river, and didn't have to do that, though. Ace-Jack, going to start with the re-raise. I think no reason not to. Ace-Jack is a pretty good hand. How's that for some insider pro tip advice there? Ace and Jack are good card. I wonder how many views the videos would get if that's how I addressed the most situations. I guess that's kind of what I do in a lot of spots because I just say we have cards, we have a pair, thus we're betting. Here we don't have a pair, however we have we have a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, 2 overcards. That's an interesting turn card for us. All right, so I think we have an interesting decision between check raising all in and bet not folding. I decided to go with the check raising all in play because I just feel like we have a history in which he will be lighter than usual. However, maybe I messed this up because even though he was really stabby earlier, he's gotten less stabby in this point in the session, to the point where you guys probably haven't even seen him do anything that crazy yet. On a 9 river, I think I'm going to check this. Again, maybe I'm just way over anticipating what he's doing here. I mean, it's possible he just had absolutely nothing and he just didn't want to bluff, in which case it was correct to check to him still. But I just was talking about how he wasn't stabby anymore, and then I checked him hoping he would be stabby. So that might have been a little optimistic on my end. But I felt that this guy had taken a lot of opportunities to bluff in other situations, so I wanted to give him an opportunity there when the board ran out of 4 straight in a spot where we don't often have the straight. So didn't want to take me up on my opportunity, though, on the offer that I so nicely extended to him. 101 dealer. 101 dealer. That's right. It's a raise. Pretty good flop for us with the ace-8 offsuit here. The old 5-6-7 ball. That's one thing that I haven't done in a long time. I haven't played props. That used to be the really cool thing to do. Everyone would play props. Now people just play on their iPad. No one plays props anymore. That was people just play open face on their iPad. No more props. They used to be so fun. People would bet on the order the flops would come out, what the middle card would give you bonuses, and I actually have it written out somewhere. The props I used to play with a couple of friends of mine. I think I never played like super big, but I played big enough that I've had a couple like 10 or 12K winning sessions in props, so that was pretty cool back in the day. The way that this board's run out, I can't imagine that I'm going to fold unless he bets like 10. If he pots it, then I guess it's a close decision, but even against that, I'm not sure. We have seen him stop bluffing in the last few orbits, so I am more inclined to believe him than not. So if he checks, I think we're going to bet, but he bets quite a lot, which is interesting. So I think we have to call just because our hand looks like it's a one-pair hand, like a 7-8, 5-5-8, 6-8, a kind of hand that can't really call right now. I mean, he can definitely have us beat with a 2-pair type of hand or a 4 for sure, but I think we win this often enough because this is just like such a high percentage of we don't have hands much better than ace-8 here very often, so... All right, we picked that up there. I actually really like his bluff. I think that was pretty solid bluff all in all. I mean, we just don't have it very often in that particular instance. So, we don't have it, so to speak, very often. Like the hands we usually have there are like 7-8, 6-8, stuff like that. So, I wish that I had just recorded through the entire session because we were getting beat up there for a little while by Riddle Lock over here also. So I didn't mean to. It looks like we've just heated it up, but he was having his way with us there for a little while. So we are up $60 now at this point, which is fantastic. I feel like we were stuck at like $100 bankroll for so long, and then once we built the lair, the den of the run it up den, the den of evil over here for the summer villains. We once we did that, it was just like, all right, see you later. Boom switch engaged. That's what that was. Gonna fold ace five offsuit here. We got another appearance by Benedito's. I feel like he plays like a cameo role in like every video. He just like shows up for like 3 hands, doesn't say a word. He's just like here for the camera time. He's he's like the Phil Hellmuth of Run It Up. He just shows up, makes a little presentation. I guess if he was Phil Hellmuth, he'd give us a speech. But we don't get a speech. We do get a re-raise though, which is almost a Phil Hellmuth speech. Maybe it is Phil Hellmuth. It's possible. He just stood up, said, "Honey, I've got pocket aces. I'm re-raising this guy $4." It's possible. I actually really like Phil. Phil has been one of those guys that he had never any reason to be nice to me whatsoever in any instance, and has always taken like a step out of his way to be nice to me. So I always, and that was long before I came out too, before anyone's like, "Oh yeah, of course." No. He's always been really a real nice guy to me. Always been there to talk poker or advice or whatever when needed. So I'm a Phil Hellmuth fan. I actually also think that whether I was friendly with him or not, I've actually always felt that he plays poker very well. Although he does a couple things that are bad, especially against like elite opposition and even like very strong opposition. But against like medium players in person in tournaments, like he's got a great understanding of people and dynamic and when he can apply pressure. And he does so many unconventional things. He's a bit of almost like a poker artist, you know, like he's not the most fundamentally sound. He didn't come up through the school of hard knocks online or anything like that. But he gets it done, and I think he's got a very strong poker mind, despite that he's got some things that are just like, you know, he gets himself in trouble. If you watch those like high stakes cash games he's played in and stuff like that, he's almost certainly not a huge winner in those lineups, and some of them he's probably not even a winner at all. But, you know, then again, they're putting him in some of these lineups that are like nightmares. If I remember correctly, the one that he played in high stakes poker with like Durr and several other really good players. So, you know, not many people would be winners in that lineup. So, all right, well, we're going to be re-raising and not folding, that's for sure. 475 on 150. I think we can make it 1250. I'm happy with that. 1250. It's a nice little lunch we got here, you know? Remember where I used to be playing for like nickels and dimes? Now look at us here. Look how far we've come. We got $455 plus a little bit more maybe. You know, look how far we've come. $12.50. It's actually kind of crazy because we started with $50 and we played a $50 buy-in tournament yesterday with another like $400 to spare behind that. That's pretty cool. That's something always great about poker. You can always spin it up, you know? That is really something that I've always really liked about poker, that you could put me on like somebody offered in the comments. You could put me on a couch in Sweden with $0 and I could still run it up from there, you know? That's the great thing about poker. So we could definitely lose here to like a pocket aces type of thing, but instead we're going to run up a flip. Let's see if we can get there. We're going to need a jack, ace, or a king. Ace ball. Get the Toshiba drills out and just drill it. All right, there we go. Boy, this was a heater camera session if there ever was one. It was just like lose. I was like, all right, I'm just going to make a video later, I guess, and just try to get unstuck then. And then I was like, oh, he'll play heads up. I was like, okay, I'll do a video heads up. And now here we are. That is a heartwarming tale of perseverance for all you kids at home that watch these videos. You know, that's a heartwarming tale of perseverance if I've ever heard one. Remember this one for Thanksgiving, you know? When you're all sitting around the table. All right, Jack 9 offsuit here in the big blind. We've got $200 on the table, which is rather insane. And I think this is actually the most we've ever had in a cash game table for Run It Up. I mean, it has to be. When do we ever have more money than this? We've got like half our bankroll on the table right now. I mean, we're in for 85, so we're up 110 off that. So we've got $565 in the bankroll right now, which is unbelievable. I think I'm going to raise this. I mean, the board is connected enough. Our hand is good enough. He's only got 30 bucks. So I feel like he's also seen me put pressure on him in a lot of situations. I mean, I know you guys haven't seen it, but I did this a lot with hands that I ended up folding to when he re-raised correctly. I'll point out every single time. So given that history, I really want to raise here. 8 is a fine card. I'm neither happy nor sad about that. I mean, it didn't really change the board in any meaningful way unless he happened to have 6, 7. I'm a little worried that we might not have the best hand now. I mean, something here makes me feel a little worried, and I'm not really able to explain what it is, but something about this hand makes me feel like I want to be a little cautious and just check this turn. I mean, I think that usually I would bet this turn, but for some reason I think I want to just check back and then call rivers, because I feel like he'll probably play his hand straightforwardly on the river at this point. I feel like if he had us beat, he would probably just bet right now, by now, so I think I'm happy to bet a red bird. If he has a 5 or maybe even like pocket 6s, pocket 7s, he'll just call. If he has a worse 9, he'll just call. He can hero call once in a while with even worse than that, I think. And I'm okay with how that hand went down. We might have missed a street of value, but for some reason I was a little worried that we were gonna get some action there that we didn't want. Against this, I think we can re-raise this. We have an ace. I'm happy with it. Ace 8, pretty decent. If he re-raises us, we're just going to fold. It's possible that he could be light and be bluffing us, but he hasn't really been too aggressive lately. Although this is a good opportunity to be aggressive, I'm not necessarily sure he will take it to mean that. He did. I think I'm probably just going to fold. I mean, for all the messing around we've done, he's been relatively straightforward recently. I don't really want to call, although we could. I don't really want to do that. So I think we're going to just fold, and, you know, that's it. We'll just let that one go. All right, raising it up here on the button with the old Jack 7 suited. Jack 7 of hearts. All right, folds around. Easy 75 cents to add to the stack there. I actually have a quarter, coincidentally, but I only have 1 quarter. This is it. This is my prop quarter that I didn't even mean to bring over here. If only I was really smart, I would stack like quarters and dimes, and we would just be able to, like, you know, I'd be able to show you guys the money and everything, but no. Who needs that? It's online poker. Who needs money, you know? Who needs real money when you just play online poker? I think I'm just going to fold the queen 4 on this flop. I mean, he raised pre-bet. I don't see any reason why we will stick around here. I think we're just going to let this one go. I mean, that's a pretty poor flop for the queen 4 suited. That's got to be one of the worst flops for the queen 4, so easy fold post flop. Easy fold post flop. So back with more videos every day this week. Not really sure exactly what my plans will be, like I said before, but definitely will be videos pretty much every day. I mean, streaming on Fridays on Twitch, like I said before, and maybe Saturday. And I think I might actually start throwing in some other, you know, little streams here and there for other stuff, because the stuff that I'd really probably enjoy streaming is like Magic, League of Legends, stuff like that. Even though I think like much less of you will want to watch that kind of stuff, it is like the only other thing that I do with my free time besides, you know, work, poker. You know, there's a very tiny sliver of being social in there, but, you know, it's very tiny. And then the rest of the free time, which is also very tiny, I pretty much only spend playing video games. So we ended up calling here with 8-9 offsuit against the re-raise in position, which I'm fine with. It will probably be... I actually think we're going to call this flop. I think that given that he hasn't been bluffing us too much, the board's very connected. If the board comes a scary card on the turn, he might check fold to that. He might just check fold on any turn card, like a 10 he might just give up on in some cases. So also an 8 or 9 is probably good. So all in all, I felt like we could get away with the float there given the price that he was offering. If he just bets here, we're just going to be folding, and we'll just have given him $2.65, but he does not. So we'll see if I'm correct here. I really want to make sure that I don't want to bet an amount here that encourages him to stick around. So I want to make sure I bet enough to get him to fold his nonsense and not encourage him to like check raise all in, which he's done before on me several times. So this player is certainly capable of punishing us and putting us in the cage here and just sending us packing. But for the time being, all right, good check raise by this guy over there. I told you he was playing very well. You guys just saw the heater. You guys didn't see the, you know, the cool check raises that he was putting on. So at least now you guys see, oh, he is kind of aggressive. So yeah, I actually think his check raise there is perfect, especially given our style. I'm very happy with his check raise there. So didn't work out for us there, but I still like our thought process there. I think our reasoning is all very reasonable, as reasoning should be. So we flop an open ender here. I'm probably planning on. He bet kind of a lot. Probably just going to check raise. I don't really remember too much about this guy, to be honest, despite knowing that he shows up in every video for like 3 hands. I don't really remember how he plays at all. So I'm going to just check raise because I think that's the best thing to do against a person I don't know in this situation, 3-handed with the dynamic and the history and the stack sizes. But it's very close. I could just call here too. I'd probably do both of them at a relatively close frequency. So against the re-raise, we're slightly worried because hands he re-raises with do include hands such as diamonds. I think when he re-raises here, he's so often got like ace, king, aces, sets, 2 pairs, big draws, and against that whole range, we're not really doing too well. Getting having to call 7 to win 20. He might be aware of us check raising light, generally speaking, that we're like capable of doing it. But you can't give him too much credit, or you can't give him no credit and just say he's just got 7 8. You really can't. I'm really not too happy with calling. Also, even calling puts us in a weird spot. Let's say the turn is like the jack of diamonds. We're just going broke, obviously. If a turn card is a regular jack, we're obviously still going broke. Like, it's not even the nuts. We're not even turning the nut. Not that he has better than that too often, but I think generally speaking there, I don't think our check raise is necessarily bad, but I think it would be bad to continue once he re-raises us. So we gave that up there. Here we are on the flop with 8-7 suited. Going to be starting out with the C-bet, standard old C-bet on that. Probably just giving up, as much as I am a big fan of giving people the business here and just, get out of here. I feel like on the deuce turn card, we're probably just going to give up. Although there is potential opportunities to do some bluffing here. I think we'll just give up, Well, we're probably not going to be done with the hand at this point. If he bets, we're probably going to end up calling. I mean, we lose to queens and tens, but we beat everything else pretty much. Not that he has a lot of other things. The fact that he checked makes me think that we probably have the best hand, though he could check like a 10 to us and hope we bluff. Is he really going to call us with pocket 5s, pocket 6s, ace 4, something like that? Probably not. I think we're just going to check, but I assume we win. Maybe we should have bet like $1.50, something like that. Don't have to show our hand. Don't have to show that we didn't bluff. Don't have to show that we did bluff. It's probably better to bet that very tiny than it is to check. But also, we don't know this guy's frequencies very well, so it can't be a big difference either way. All right. Jack 6 deuce here with our queen 9 in the big blind. Probably just planning on check folding, but given that he checked back, we will be betting once at least. If he calls us rather quickly, then we'll probably end up giving up on river cards that brick for us. 6 is an interesting river card because he shouldn't have too many 6s because those are probably just bet. I think I'm going to bet, and I'm going to bet a lot. I think 850 works. We certainly get called by some hands that want to just be sticky and hero. Like he might have ace king and just call because we could have 7-8 and whiff or something else like that. But also maybe he's seen us bluff in videos like this before, but I don't think we've done this too often. So if we did have a 6, I would bet this much. So it's not even like I'm just bluffing. I would bet a 6, 850 also, because he has a hand that's like a medium hand that, would react the same to 450 as 850. So he does call here. So nice hand, sir. With ace king, no less, which is pretty much what I thought he had. But I don't think any other bet size works either. Like I think 850 has the highest chance of working of any of the bet sizes. And if he turned his hand face up, I would like 850 as a bet size. But he makes a good call there, and ships that 850 there. I think I'm okay with that all in all. I like his flop. His flop check back is fine. His turn check back, or his turn call is obviously reasonable, and his river call is reasonable as well, especially if he thinks we have a bluffing frequency, which obviously we do. So I think that's all relatively fine on his part. Probably going to play just our button and wrap it up here. I think I've been playing this video for a while, but this has been one of those like in the zone, focused on poker types of videos. So this guy. All right. We'll play one more orbit. One more orbit for the fans. One more. We've done a pretty good job. We've ran it up a little bit as of right now. Actually, it would be impossible to. We'd have to stack someone and then or have one of these guys double through us, and then even then we'd still be in profit a little bit. Gonna call here with 4-10 suited. That is a pretty flop for the 10-4 suited. I'm probably planning on check raising just because, we just check raised him last time and it didn't work out too well for us and he re-raised. Although I don't really want to put $50, $58, $60 in this pot. We're not necessarily committing to doing that. We're just making it 5-10 right now. But if he did make it like 15, I probably wouldn't shove. I'd probably just call. We also could have made it 4-10 instead of 5-10, which might have been a little bit better just because this is kind of a raise size that makes him decide to either re-raise or it might encourage him to re-raise here a little bit more, slightly. But looks like he decided to tank fold, which is okay with us. Oh, all right with us. 10-7 offsuit, riddle lock. The first time I messed that up in all these videos and all this casting. That's the first time I've said little rock instead of riddle lock. I think maybe that's wrong. I could have been saying it wrong the whole time for all I know. All right, very last hand here on the button, and then we'll start counting our money. Jack 10 offsuit. All right, Jack 10 offsuit. One more raise. 101 dealer for the fans. 101. Team run it up. Last raise of the evening. Banana Toes is really sad to hear that we're packing up shop over there. Don't worry, you made your appearance, friend. You got your camera time. Don't you worry none. Riddle lock disconnected and then reconnected. Now it's back to thinking. So, we did obviously run hot to win this, and did we disconnect? No, they disconnected. I hope I had my Spotify just said disconnected, which would be unfortunate, but I think we're connected. Going to be calling against this re-raise here in position. It'll probably be three-handed to a flop, which is all right. Not the best flop for the Jack 10 offsuit, so we're probably just done with this hand. I mean, it's possible that it goes check to us, and then we maybe do something, but I'm not really particularly inspired to do very much on this flop here. I mean, this is a pretty poor flop for Jack 10 offsuit and a 3-bet flop. We could always turn the 8 and then river the 9, but no, not in this case. So we're going to let that one go, wrap this up here. We would have lost on this video had we not won that ace-king versus jacks flip, but, I think that's a pretty standard part of poker. So we happened to run good today. We brought our drill to work, and it did work, which is always great. So we were in for 85.39. We won 168.44. So we won $83.05. That is pretty solid days of run it up. Look at that bankroll. $500 bankroll now. Wow, look at this. We are running it up. The sick thing is that now that we're at like $500, is that I think actually it was much harder to go from 50 to 500 than it'll be to go 500 to 10,000. Because once we get up to like 2,000, I can just play, whatever, and I think we'll heater it up pretty fast, I think, once we get up to like 1,000. So far, so good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did, as always. We've officially run it up, so any day we run it up is a good day by me. It's so funny because I won I told you guys when I won the 22K or whatever it was that I shipped from the sports betting. That was nothing in comparison to how happy I was winning like $8 in that run it up session. So we're here, we're invested. Team run it up. It's great. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys back with more tomorrow. Peace.